All right. Hey, everybody. So much to talk about. I am, of course, located in the Boston area, have been hearing helicopters flying over my place for the last hour or so. And I have what I believe is a live stream here in Boston. The light is looking, feel like it's looking a little darker if I look out my window than it is here, but I believe that this is indeed a live stream. This is from a YouTube channel, The Resistance. And not that many people are watching this, but it appears to be someone here in Boston and a significant deployment of police officers. And we are, listen, I am hoping that tensions de escalate tonight. What makes me scared that it's not happening is that yesterday the president came out after a weekend of just tweeting agit trash, as I like to call it, and said, hey, even though everybody's protesting police brutality, I believe we need more law enforcement brutality. Trump saying to governors yesterday, if you're not strict enough, I will send in the military and be stricter for you. And the idea that you are going to end or calm protests against police brutality by telling police and military that they need to be more aggressive seems like the definition of insanity to me. Let's see what the audio is like on this
Don't do
feed.
it, please.
Okay, so a very, very similar situation here as to those that we are seeing in a lot of different places. We have any number of different streams going on right now. Some are carrying protests live, some are doing other sorts of coverage. This appears to be Los Angeles, California, and Detroit, Michigan, and both similar and different situations playing out in different parts of the country. We have examples from all over of mostly peaceful protesters demonstrating. We have examples from all over of some agitators who are not protesting, people who are showing up and doing other things, and those things are not good. We have examples of police that are kneeling with or engaging with protesters and saying, we're with you, let's do this all peacefully. And we have horrifying examples of police officers that are on video doing absolutely horrifying things. There are allegations in some cases that police are actually the agitators, although I want to be careful. It's so easy to accidentally spread disinformation in situations like this that I want to be careful not to do that. Okay, this stream, I guess, has ended, so we will get off of that. We also have this other feed, which is from the Woke channel on Twitch, which has been carrying a number of different feeds. You see, in fact, one of the feeds is the Boston feed we were just looking at. Currently feeds from Indianapolis, Seattle, regularly adding things and taking things away. And I'm glad to pull up whatever folks are interested in me looking at. Let's, for a moment, get back to the Boston feed for the time being. I see super chats are pouring in. I see that people have questions over on Twitch. Our great friend Donkey Show on Twitch has subscribed once again, which is, it's just so great to see you, Donkey Show. You've been a supporter for a long time. Let me look at some of the, oh, and in fact, let me adjust this slightly. There we go. I want to look at some of the super chats coming in already. Michael says, do you think Trump or authorities will be able to label anyone Antifa that they don't agree with or like? If Antifa becomes a terror group, it's very scary stuff. If so, and a power grab. Yeah, there's a concerted effort to essentially, so I had a tweet yesterday. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, I'll get to that a little bit later. Let me see if I can find it. CCCP. Oh boy, everything going wrong now. Let me see where this tweet was. We're going to find it momentarily. There it is. So I tweeted yesterday, Trump's strategy is ironically CCCP. Confuse about what's happening in our country, conflate the protesters versus looters versus rioters versus inciters, criticize, meaning blame everybody else, whether it's governors, Democrats, or protesters, and then pander to his Trumpist base, much of which loves authoritarianism. They often claim to be about liberty and libertarians, but in fact, they are very authoritarian when it comes to being authoritarian against those that they don't like. So that's my thought there. Zachary Monroe says, isn't it a war crime for a leader such as Trump to order the military to open fire on American citizens? Listen, these are all different. We have to define all of these terms. If you're thinking Trump is going to be held liable for war crimes, forget about it. That's not, we need to activate to get him out, and war crimes is not going to be what takes Trump down. Walker Anderson says, your 15-minute video on the protest was very well thought out, gave me a new lens through which to see this issue. Multiple lenses, I should say. Respect. Thank you. I actually did get some nice messages about our coverage so far. Let's see what this confrontation is here with Boston police.
Frontline! Frontline!
Okay, we are monitoring the situation here in Boston. I can hear the helicopters. You can't hear them because of my elements of audio equipment, which have a noise gate and block that out. But I very much hear the continued helicopters and horns all over. I do look at the Twitch chat while streaming. Of course, I love everybody on Twitch, and you can get your message up on you can get your message in that vertical blue triangle if you're watching on Twitch. If you subscribe, the message will pop up, and then I will read it. Like, for example, he went to Jared subscribed with the message, "Hi, David, you're cool," which is a beautiful message of peace and love. Okay, other YouTube super chats that are coming in. Incredible TV says, David, I'm applying to be a journalist at CNN. Can I practice questioning with you and you can tell me if I have a shot? Okay, here goes. Is Trump racist? Go to joinpacman.com to become a member. I think you're perfect for CNN. Absolutely. Zesty African says, boopy boo ba, on a scale from 1 to the standpoint of water, how unlikable is Tom Cotton? Whatever the highest unlikability number is, quadruple it, and that's Tom Cotton. Nemo Nova says, just a regular subscriber. And Tristan McCoppin says, don't you think Trump somehow directed the police to be brutal, leading to Floyd's death and also attacking journalists? I think we're stretching it if we say Trump is responsible for George Floyd's death. I think what we need to say is the people who killed George Floyd or stood aside despite being first responders while he was killed are the people who are responsible. And I think that's where we should really focus our primary energy. Let me say thank you to, what's going on here? This was a great stream from Woke on Twitch, and it seems to have frozen, which is not the best. Let's see if we can get that going again. There we go. Okay, excellent. Thanks to JPake and Faceplant Kagers for subscribing over on Twitch. Evan Orhala says, you see Matt Gaetz tweet about Antifa? Disgusting. You know what? I haven't. I don't even want to give him the time of day. Oh, hold on a second. There's something here. The super chats aren't visible over there. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay. So I believe... there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. And let me just correct this a little bit. We'll take this here and move that there. And then, okay. I think that we've got it now. Yeah. Okay, very, very good. And we'll even trim it down a little. This is an on the fly sort of situation. So we're working on this stuff as we go. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me see. I don't want to miss anybody. Brentonia says, first time sending you some cash. Your channel and takes on things are always super interesting. Hello from Canada. Hope you can vote out Trump. I hope so too. Chad Rath says, keep doing what you're doing and thank you. What's your take on protesting versus riots and the White House response? Listen, you are always going to have bad actors who want to either cause chaos, figure out a way to get something personally out of what's going on, or simply incite for political reasons. We cannot allow Trump to do what he wants to do, which is to talk about Antifa as if Antifa represents is it hundreds of thousands? Is it over 1 million people in total that have gone out to the streets to protest peacefully over the last 48 hours? We can't let it become, this is Antifa. Protesters are protesting, looters are looting. Good cops are being good cops, and you've got bad cops being absolutely brutal with the press, with protesters, etc. Let's make sure that we continue to call things what they are. Alan Sachs says CCCP is Russian for USSR. Coincidence? I think not. Thanks to Ismail for sending a super chat. Jeremy Landry says, I'm fearing the fallout of COVID cases from these protests. Yeah, I'm worried about that too. And here in Massachusetts, we are doing so well right now, and that worries me. We're between a rock and a hard place, and I'm not sure there's going to be an easy way out from all this. Very well said. Thanks to Octo Pro Games for sending some bits over on Twitch. Inconsolable says via super chat, where'd that go? Did you cover the Australian press incident on the show today? I haven't checked it out yet. I've not seen that. I apologize. I'm not sure what happened. Comrade Matthias says, do you think Trump will deploy elements of military on DC? I think that there's a serious risk of that. Our friends from We Act Radio are this stream right here in the middle at the top in DC. And we are keeping an eye on that, as well as multiple streams from New York City. Let me pick up a little bit more specifically on this element of this stream from Boston, Massachusetts, which is right here. And let's see what's going on.
George Floyd, quiet. Everybody wants to be up in arms and stuff. I get that. You all man.
The cops, bro.
I didn't say for the cops.
You said
I
for the
didn't
cops
say.
because they're people's cousins,
I
brothers.
said
and shit.
back up for the cops. Give us some space, because that's also people's
Okay,
family.
No, fuck that.
Why not? Why not?
For George Floyd, we're not here for that.
It's not about that.
Okay, so
It's
clearly
not-
disagreement about why the protests are going on and whether the police should be intimidated or not. And clearly this is a discussion that is happening in Boston right now. Glad to see that people are wearing masks, although taking it down and being 4 inches from someone who also has taken their mask down, I do think is not the prescribed use of a mask, certainly. But these individuals here are figuring out what is the protest for? What is the protest for? And that is it's a conversation that is taking place. If people have other streams that they would like me to pick up, I am glad to do it. This stream is trash right here. And it's Bloomberg. Okay, yeah. So that's not a stream that we want. But you can't send links in the chat, I believe. But certainly, if you describe how to find other streams, we can go in and check in on what is going on for sure. Because we want to, I'm in Boston, but that doesn't mean everybody is. So we want to keep an eye on what's going on in a lot of different places. Stephen Hart says, am I wrong to be concerned that there will be a nasty spike of COVID in a week or two? You're not wrong to be concerned about that. That is something I'm concerned with. Black Wave says Bill de Blasio is talking live. Okay, I am interested in what he is saying because he has been in conflict with Andrew Cuomo. Let's see if we can find de Blasio live. Okay, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that he did it 8 hours ago. So if de Blasio is live again, someone will have to tell me where that is. But I am certainly not seeing that at this juncture. Ruben Limo says you should on Twitter search Operation Themis. I don't know what that is. If I hope I didn't just say some code for something horrible. James Hileppo says, what's your basis for believing our institutions are strong enough to make Trump leave if he is voted out? I'm at the point where I'll believe it when I see it. Listen, if the last 48 hours have shown us anything, it's that Donald Trump is not going to leave without a fight. He is not going to peacefully transition, but I believe that he will leave if he loses. And it's our responsibility to make sure that he does, Papa Olvidado says, Karma Police arrest this man. Kingshound says, I got my wife Cynthia watching your show up now. Way to go. Thanks, Kingshound, and hi to Cynthia. TR says, have you seen Ted Cruz's bill to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization and uses left-wing activism interchangeably with Antifa? Yeah, that's the strategy. First, they say these protests are really just Antifa, which is, of course, not true. Then they start to muddle the language between Antifa and left-wing protesters. And then they basically just make it appear as though left-wing protesters are mostly not peaceful, which of course they are. Of course they are, as you can see, even from all of the videos that have come out today. Thanks to Dranoa and Pusherman or Pusherman for the subscriptions over on Twitch. I am glad to take stream requests from people. There's a couple things I did want to just briefly show you. Here, I hope you guys saw this incredible stunt yesterday, just sickening. All folks who hopefully will be unemployed next year, is the way I would say it, as similar to what is said here. Trump at some point deciding this is over. They gassed enough protesters on the way.
Okay, thank you very much. We have the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much, everybody.
Greatest country, there you go, an incredible
Keep
statement.
it nice and safe.
So there it is. And of course, also continued reporters just in the middle of it. This is Jolene Kent. And again, it appears to be a war zone. It's a sports field in Seattle.
Hey guys, we're in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Seattle right now. I don't know if you can hear me, but we have police now advancing on protesters.
Look at that. Hit with a canister of gas.
We're moving.
Okay. You're good. Go this way. Go this way.
Let's go.
Absolute chaos.
To our viewers, we have a security team with all of our correspondents.
We are backing up. There is severe tear gas and fireworks being deployed by Seattle police. We're retreating out of what is a baseball field. Whoa.
Hey, Jolene, I don't love having you up against a fence. Do you have a way out of there?
Let's go. What the Lauren, keeping up to urgent care. Guys, we need to move.
How do you even describe this, right? I mean,
You need to walk.
Okay, maybe the best thing to do here is for Jolene and her crew.
yeah, something hopefully closer to safety. Looks like U.S. News. Oh, this is now a feed from Now This. Okay, that seems to have ended at this point in time. So that is that. And as you can see, it's not even safe for media at this point in time, incredibly. And we are going to, of course, continue covering that angle. By the way, I mean, I guess I want to be clear. This is not like the most important thing right now. But when we talk about media, I think it's relevant to mention. Let me see where I posted this on my Twitter page. I'm Deep Hackman on Twitter, by the way. So this is what you call the soft suppression of independent coverage of these protests. We spent the entire weekend following and researching what's going on in the country. And we did a show yesterday which had a lot of stories about the protests and about George Floyd and about police brutality and protest tactics and all this stuff. As you can see, almost every single one of our clips yesterday was demonetized. That's what the yellow dollar signs mean. Now, this is YouTube. The exact same thing happened on Facebook, okay? So anybody who has fallen for the idea that these platforms want to encourage diversity of voices and they want underrepresented views and something other than corporate media, we did a show yesterday that was 90% demonetized, as you can see here. So listen, I'm not the victim here, right? I mean, I could, if I can't make a living doing this, I can go look for some other job. Certainly, there's no question about that. But the point is, this is how you start to suppress voices. Because if I want to talk about, as I said on the program today, a Kardashian lied about being a billionaire or whatever, those videos will be monetized. I will be doing you a disservice. I would be doing you a disservice if I did that. And that's why, when I see super chats come in from people saying, you're doing a good job with the protest coverage and breaking down what is going on and narratives and the like, I really appreciate that because, when we spend an entire day producing a show, editing a show, promoting a show, research, all this stuff, and then every one of these videos almost gets a yellow dollar sign on YouTube, which means, sorry, can't monetize it. And the same thing happens on Facebook. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. And listen, we didn't get killed by a cop. We haven't been tear gassed. I get it, but we know what's going on because of the coverage of it. And when you suppress alternative voices, you are essentially saying, hey, corporate media, whatever your story is the story that's going to be out there. And that's very, very dangerous. So nothing illegal done by YouTube. It's bad policy. It's very, very frustrating. And, I particularly, obviously, appreciate everybody who's been signing up for memberships on my website, because you're basically giving a middle finger to these algorithms that demonetize. And before we go any further, let me actually thank so many people are signing up right now. And I want to thank those people at joinpacman.com. Larry Mills is new member number 1. Mark Hancock is new member number 2. Miles Greer is new member number 3. Mary Beth Jenkins is number 4. Thank you guys. Wow. Lucas Arsenault is number 5. Deborah Kanoff has signed up at joinpacman.com and is number 6. Jacob Hoffner, number 7. I'm stunned by what's going on. Alexander Rees is number 8. M. Liu is number 9. And also thank you to Riker Hardy, who is number 10. And Stephanie Curtis is also number 11. I can't tell you how much it means to us that folks are supporting us in this way. And I can assure you, when you do an entire show and then see this, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good about what it says about a lot of these algorithms and platforms either. Okay. Other super chats coming in. We are sort of just taking a tour of what is going on around the country right now. We have focused in a bit on Boston, which is here. We have a couple of streams in New York City. We have a couple of streams in Washington, D.C. We Act Radio, by the way, this stream, these are our friends. We're good friends with the guys who run We Act Radio. And it's great to have their feed. And I'm glad to pick up on some other feeds. If people would like me to, just let me know. The chat and everything is moving so fast. So you can let me know via Super Chat potentially. Nikki Cole has subscribed with Twitch Prime and says, I'm pleased to help you out any way I can. Also subbed on the website. Thank you, Nicole. And the Ron Burgundy is also a new subscriber. Zachary Foster says, David, I think this isn't just about police brutality. The systemic issue also includes career underemployment and many other things. Yes, check out my 16-minute clip yesterday about this, where what I essentially said is anybody with a hot take that claims to know the reason for what is going on right now is missing the boat, because this is systemic in a way that is beyond. It's not just race. It's not just militarization of police. It's not just our economic system. It's not just coronavirus. It's a lot of these things are coming together in very particular ways. And I have a story about that. And you're absolutely right, Zachary, for sure. Okay, other super chats. They are starting to come in fast and furious, and I am missing some of them. Let me scroll back up. Oh boy, where are we? Wow, we have a lot here. Dutch Morgan says, I used to be a Trump supporter. I would troll many left-wing streams. I never thought I'd change my political affiliation. Oh, wow. I did it because of people like you and Kyle Kulinski. I can't thank you enough. This is why it matters, guys. This is why this stuff matters. You can pierce echo chambers. It is possible. It is possible. Wade Flores says, hey, David, I heard a report that the Proud Boys are in my city. My fear is that they're escalating the violence, and because of that, it's making it easy for policy and government officials to blame Antifa. Any thoughts? Listen, we know that some supposed Antifa Twitter accounts were white nationalists. We know that there are provocateurs that are deliberately trying to make the protesters, who are overwhelmingly peaceful, look bad. So I don't know anything about that specifically, but there is no doubt that that very well could be going on. Inconsolable says, Google Australia asks for investigation after police attack 2 journalists in the U.S. for a New York Times article on it. I will check that out. Carl Smith said, what if the U.S. Army fires on U.S. citizens? Has it happened? Has it been only police that have been firing with rubber bullets? Or I just don't know. I mean, the National Guards have been deployed, certainly. And I don't know the answer to that. David Mello says, have you shared any thoughts on Biden's talk? So here's my thought about Joe Biden's talk today. A couple different things. Number one, everybody who screams liberal media, they cover everything Trump does lately. I know they've not been covering the press briefings. And Joe Biden's very good speeches about what's going on have not been covered. So here's my view. Is Joe Biden a progressive hero? No, he's not. Does Joe Biden in his past have problematic positions? Of course he does. Is there any comparison between Biden and Trump right now when it comes to leadership, when it comes to a willingness to say we have a systemic problem here when it comes to police treatment of minorities and generally of the poor? There's no comparison. There is no comparison whatsoever. And I actually tweeted earlier, and this resonated with a lot of people. Let me see where it is. Where was it? Here it is. Looking at my email, the last 24 hours seem to have dramatically changed the minds of many of my Never Biden followers. I'm going to have a bunch of emails and tweets from people tomorrow on the show from people saying, I was one of those Never Biden people. And the last 48 hours, the Biden speech combined with Trump saying, oh, we're protesting police brutality. Let's be more brutal and send the U.S. military, have changed a lot of minds in a way that I certainly would not have predicted 2 weeks ago was going to happen because we didn't know any of this was going to happen. Thank you to B. Scolo, who has gifted a subscription on Twitch. I very much appreciate that. Okay. So much going on. April H says, what do you think of Black Lives Matter and their goals? Is defunding or dismantling police even possible? No. How do we go forward from here? Love from Toronto. So I'm going to be publishing a clip on Friday. Police is not going to be dismantled or defunded. Okay. So if that's what you're waiting for, I hope you're not holding your breath because you won't be able to breathe. That's literally the case. So I have an initial list of things that we should be doing when it comes to police. I'm doing a full segment on this Friday, so I'm just going to tell you what's in my notes. Here are some ideas, okay? Number one, in a lot of countries, police train much longer before they're out there. Look at Germany as an example, many other countries. In the US, very often you're training for 12 or 13 weeks, a few months, 6 months, and then you're out there policing. That's not enough time. And specifically, not only should police training be expanded, it should be extremely focused on social worker type work. We know that social worker type training for police allows situations to be de-escalated. It leads to better community relations. I'll talk about it more on Friday, but police need longer training and more social work type training. We will diffuse a lot of these situations from the get-go. Number two, we have a lot of bad acts by police concentrated among very few people. I don't know the numbers, right? I can't tell you whether 99% of police are good or 99.5% or 93. I don't know what it is, but what I can tell you is whatever percentage of police are not good, they are responsible for the lion's share of bad acts, meaning we have repeat offenders. We absolutely need two things as far as that goes. And this will be my last point. I don't want to do my entire Friday show today. If we had more personality and psychological evaluation of police candidates, we would likely be able to root out that tiny percentage that has bloodlust, that, as Trump said, are the guys who want action. Trump tweeted that about Secret Service over the weekend, that they put the ones who want action on the front lines. If we could root out that small portion early, we prevent the vast majority of the bad acts. But then, when there are bad acts, there should be a national database of police complaints. This would achieve two things. Number one, if I have a problem with Boston PD and I want to try to get hired in Austin, Texas, if we have a central database, it's much harder for me to lie about my past with police. Now, you might say, well, okay, if Austin calls Boston and speaks to your supervisor, maybe it won't happen. So we need a database of bad actors. And when you hire a police officer, you should be required, whether this is a federal law or it might be states that have to legislate it. If you're going to hire a police officer who is not a brand new person that you're sending to cadet school, to academy, you should be required to check the database to see if they have complaints against them so that police departments can't hide behind, we had no idea. They didn't tell us about their bad history. Well, if we have a national database and you are required to check the database when you have an applicant, we would also prevent a lot of these officers from getting rehired, because they will sometimes do bad acts in one department and the systems work and they're removed. But then they go get hired somewhere else. They don't talk about their past. Somehow, we don't know how, the new department doesn't find out about it. So these are a few ideas. I see people saying police unions are way too strong. They would never go for that. It would be a fight. There's no doubt that it would be a fight. I agree with you. But these are some of my ideas. Let me see if there's anything else to mention. When there's police shootings and uses of force, you probably want civilians to be involved in the review process and the adjudication process. It shouldn't just be left to police. That's another idea. Police are overly militarized. We need to demilitarize. A lot of other countries, police are not nearly as militarized, and you have far fewer problems. So those are some ideas, but you know, this is a big topic. Let me do a couple other super chats, and then we're going to look at a few other things here. By the way, if you are just joining us on any platform, Facebook, make sure to give our page a like. Twitch, make sure to follow my channel. And YouTube, make sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It really helps us. David Belsky says, my dad thinks you're a dweeb, but you do get it all right, which is what matters. All right, well, say hi to your dad for me. I don't hold it against him. Van A. Dulles says, unfortunately, I lost a $100 gift card I bought this weekend. Dang. Sorry to hear that. Seth Barham says, David, have you seen the video of the Tennessee National Guard laying down their shields? You can tell by their faces they don't want to be there. I did see that video. Let me see if I can find it and we can all look at it. That was a good video. Let's see here. Tennessee National Guard videos. I think we will be able to see it. Okay, yeah, I've got it for you. Thanks for calling my attention to it. Take a look here. Badly needed, as this person says. Badly needed. Great to see that. Very, very good video. Thanks for calling my attention to it. I'm glad to find, to pull up other things if people are interested. Let me thank a few other people who have gotten memberships, and I so appreciate it. Gene Gonzalez is new member number 12 today. Nolan Tarbox is number 13. Gerardo Quintana is number 14. Also want to say thanks to Todd Sandridge, who just grabbed a membership on my website. Vida Daniel is new member number 16 today. Paul Jacobs is number 17. William Campbell is number 18. Unbelievable. Sam Weaver is number 19. Michael Keating is number 20. I so appreciate you guys. Clifton Marshall is number 21 today. Matt Schweiger is number 22. Krissa Sidoroff is new member number 23 today. Also thanks to Paul Arkazewski or Arkazewski, who is number 24. And Louis Riffle is number 25. You know, when we get to 25, I like to say, let's go for 50. Michael McGowan is new member number 26 today. Colton Boreen is 27. And Jesse Aguilar is number 28. I'm not meaning to take so much time for this, but I am stunned by the folks that are seeing the importance of what's going on and grabbing memberships. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's go back to our Boston stream and see what is happening here. As I mentioned, I've heard I've seen protesters walking by, and I've heard helicopters for the last 75 or even 90 minutes. Let's see what's happening here in Boston.
We out here, y'all. We out here. We out here. And let me refresh everybody's memory. I don't want y'all to think I'm not going to Minnesota, because I'm still on my way there. I got a little situation going on with flight delays. I'm trying to get a flight that's going to get me out there and get me back. I'm going out there. Y'all already know what the news is. Y'all already know what happened out there.
Okay, all right. So a lot of discussion of travel plans happening at this exact moment, but massive, massive crowd. We did have destruction of property 2 nights ago here in Boston. I don't know what happened last night, but it appears to be more peaceful today. Everybody walking by my place seemed very, very focused on the activism component of what is going on. So that is good to see. And the Boston feed, of course, one of the feeds that we are monitoring here, just got a little blurry. Let's see what we can do about that. We want 1080p, of course. I wouldn't bring you guys anything short of that. We have a feed from Atlanta, Georgia. Our friends from React Radio are in Washington, D.C., along with the Zach and Matt show. We have Jeff Mack in New York City. That was our feed from the Resistance here in Boston. We also are monitoring video from Columbus, Ohio, New York City, and Atlanta, Georgia, all thanks to the Twitch channel Woke. The Twitch channel Woke bringing us this multi-stream of a variety of different, I call them elements of streaming, is the way that I describe it. Thanks to Plague of the Earth and Biscolo, as well as Tnavries, for supporting over on Twitch. Very much appreciate that. Oh, by the way, I don't know if it was a joke or for real. Someone told me a couple weeks ago to make an account on OnlyFans, and I tweeted that I did, but it was a joke. I didn't really do it. I did actually make an account on Cameo. People were also suggesting that I make an account on Cameo, and I did. That is not a joke. I've not used it yet. I've gotten no requests on it. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't even fully understand Cameo, but I am, what is my username? Oh, David Pacman. Okay, I am David Pacman on Cameo, and I don't know what I've agreed to do. I don't know anything about it. Cameo reached out to me and said, hey, we get a lot of requests for you. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I am now on Cameo, and I will look at it after the stream in case anything happens on there. But very, very exciting stuff. I don't know, Cameo is C-A-M-E-O is the way that it is spelled. Okay, other super chats are exploding. We have an explosive super chat situation. I want to hear from you. Alexei Dominov says, would Biden pardon Trump? I think he said he would not already. Would it work to take a supermajority in the House, take the Senate, and impeach Trump without capitulating to the electable Dem, getting the Dems blamed for his actions? Extremely unlikely. I think it's simpler to remove Trump by electing Biden. Joe Grover, the effing game cat, says, for some pizza for you and the crew, thanks for what you do. Monetized bitches. Oh my God. Aggressive. Matty Ice PVD says, David, prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternative 2020. McFly Brown, 2020. Okay. Paula White says, Trump has caused all of this, and if you don't think that blacks have it much worse than whites in America, you're an idiot, and COVID is going to spike like crazy because Trump wants to cause a war. Aggressive. Tom Owain says, have you seen the BLM protests in Paris today? I did see video of that, and it is stunning. Stunning. Johnny Minogue says, Boston resident too. I hated how the local news stations on Sunday night were nothing but disaster porn and spin that the protests were all looters. It was horrifying. It was horrifying. Comrade Matthias linking me to the Australian press incident. Okay, I try not to click on links on stream, but I will check that out later. James Buccino says, should the cops military shoot and kill rioters? No, they should not. Cameron Welty says, I'm from Seattle, and massive unrest has resulted from cops pepper spraying and beating innocent peaceful protesters. Trump sending in the military will be a disaster. Yeah, one of our feeds here was from Seattle, although that appears to be gone now. But we have been keeping an eye on Seattle because things have been getting very, very aggressive there for sure. Essential says, thanks for your great coverage. I was worried, but you didn't let me down. Proud to be a supporter. Yeah, a lot of people wrote to me and said, David, we really need community right now. So even if you don't do much other than pick up some of the streams and let people participate, it would be a good thing to do. So I'm doing what the people want. I am here doing exactly that. Greg Lerman sends a super chat. So does Cheryl, who says, thanks for your coverage. Moni Lou says, I just sent in my absentee voter application, but I had to print it out. It was not sent to me, giving the link to my whole family and friends just in case of the second wave of COVID. I believe that is smart. I believe that that is a very, very smart thing to do. Insane Lane says, have you seen that Australia is asking? Okay, people are mentioning that. I don't know about it yet, so I apologize. I can't comment about it, but I am going to look at that. Thanks to Jason Gerard for grabbing a YouTube membership. Taika says, thoughts on Trump's odd twitching and jerking at his awful speech, more coherent but odd behavior. Yeah, there was a lot of that. It was he was all over the place. I don't know what to make of it. You all know I've been following that for a while, and I don't know what to make of Trump's twitching and jerking. It was very weird. Kat McGlynn says, how you are doing well. Stay safe, and we are supporting you. Thank you. Incredibo TV says, sorry about being demonetized, David. I'm already a member, but I'll chip in however I can. Your work is so desperately needed in these times. Yeah, if you're just joining us, I put up a picture earlier of how yesterday, like, our entire show was demonetized because it's about what's going on. It's about police brutality. YouTube says, Facebook says no monetization. It's about George Floyd. Any videos with images of what happened to George Floyd are instantly demonetized. That's newsworthy, right? What the policy seems to be is you can sort of talk about what happened to George Floyd, but if you show the video, of course, or even stills of what happened, demonetized. So, yeah, I have a whole segment about it. I'm not going to talk about that. Hey, this, I think, is Alex Lawson, my friend Alex Lawson from We Act Radio. I can't tell because of the mask. I'm going to see if I can pick up We Act Radio YouTube. Let's see if I can find the stream. Oh, it just froze. What does that say? Live video interrupted. Okay, let me see if I can find the We Act Radio live stream. Oh, but then it doesn't actually look, that's weird. It looks like they're live here. Oh, and now that stream is gone. Okay, so maybe We Act Radio is no longer live. That's too bad. Yeah, we have old friends at We Act Radio in DC, and they've been doing a lot of streaming. Thanks to Adotera for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. I appreciate that. Remember, by the way, if you have Amazon Prime, I don't care where you're watching. If you have Amazon Prime, Amazon gives you one free subscription per month, and you can use it on my channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/David Pakman. Just connect Amazon to Twitch at twitch.amazon.com. Free. It's free to you, and it's great for us, which is exciting. Thanks to Bob Allard, says, here's to your coverage. Wake Up Style sends a super chat. Joe Grover, the effing game cat, has subscribed. Jonathan McCartney sends I believe that's 5,000 yen. Oh, it is. It's Jonathan says, I've lived in Japan for the last 9 years, and I am simultaneously, I just lost it. I am simultaneously glad to be away from all of this, but my heart is aching because I feel like I am witnessing the complete destruction of every goal I wanted to see accomplished during my lifetime. It's tragic. I don't know how else to say it, but what we are seeing is completely and utterly tragic. No other way to say it. Message in a Bottle has subscribed. Nico Princess says, Trump's declaration of Antifa as a terrorist group seems to be just one more of Trump stoking the us versus them mentality among his base. Absolutely. No question about it. James Hileppo says, can't imagine any length, including martial law, Donald Trump wouldn't desperately go to combat a loss on November 3rd, and he has checks and balances and the military wrapped around his finger. He is not going to go peacefully. We are going to need to ensure that the institutions of the United States do not get co-opted by Donald Trump, because if he loses, he will not go peacefully. I believe he will go. But I don't believe that he is going to go peacefully. Papa Olvidado, forgotten dad, says, I've been drunk since the impeachment hearings. Okay. Phil Mariage has subscribed. Ruben Limo says, aircraft over DCA last night in a show of force against George Floyd protesters were ordered by Trump Operation Themis, AP correspondent James Laporta. Okay. I have not independently verified that. Jeremy Landry says Trump letting 40 million people go unemployed during COVID might have fueled these protests in terms of numbers of people able to participate. 100%. I absolutely believe that that is the case. Let's see what's happening here in Boston.
This is black cop right here talking to us, y'all. Y'all take it for what it is, man.
Have a good safe night. I'll Oh, so this is by the orange one. What station is this? Let me see where this is. This is the Forest Hills. Oh, it is. Oh, this is actually a little bit outside of it's in the city, but it is not like downtown as it would be known. It's interesting that Forest Hills is this busy right now. So you've got transit police, Boston police, and it looked like some a little bit more militarized police forces there. A lot of masks, but a lot of masks pulled down. Here's a protester hugging a cop. You love to see it. Let's just observe a little bit of what's going on.
Behind enemy lines, y'all. I'm behind enemy lines. They can come down and swoop on me anytime. They can swoop on the resistance anytime. This is what I bring to you, y'all. I'm out here in the mix, and this is what I do. This is what I do, and I say true to my word. Minneapolis, I'm on my way.
Wow.
Follow-up news in Minneapolis. Follow-up news in Minneapolis. I'm behind enemy lines. It's getting rowdy out here, but it's still peaceful. They tried to light fireworks. I knocked that shit out the area. I'm not playing that shit.
I could get over here in 10 minutes, but it's seeming like, I can do more good from the studio, quite frankly.
History just sticks. Y'all already know what it is, man. Behind enemy lines.
Okay, all right. So things very, very much going there. And I would love to pull up a New York City live feed to see what's going on there. Let's see if we can do that. New York City protests live. I want to see what's going on in New York. Let's see. NBC New York. Let's see what's going on here. Chopper 4 over New York City protests. Okay, so you have a group that is crossing the street right now. And we can keep an eye on this as well. Maybe there's a better New York stream that we could pick up. Also, local news is likely to get us, you know what? Bad news, bad news could happen by picking up something like that. So if somebody has the curfew is enacted in New York City, and I'd be curious to see what is going on there. Somebody has a feed for me, I would be glad to pick it up. Okay, let me say a few other thank yous to just incredible supporters that are signing up on my website. Francis La Liberté is new member number 29 today. Richard Gray is number 30. John Johnston is number 31. Thanks to Karen Crenshaw, you are new member number 32 today. Who else do we have? Daniel Matienzo, love it, is new member number 33 today. And then who else did I not thank? Oh, I think I have a couple of other people. Hold on. Now it's actually getting crazy here. Let me see where I was. Thanked Miles, Maribeth, Lucas Arsenault, we did. Okay, got it. M. Lou, Riker Hardy, Stephanie. Okay, and Wayne Jackson. Wayne Jackson is new member number 34 today. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate the support, and we are doing everything we can to continue and expand the coverage of what is going on around the country right now. Okay, let me read a few other super chats. Thanks to Erica, Hello Freddie, and Angel Aguilar. Some Random says, from Australia. Essential says, what are your thoughts on Campaign Zero? I don't have any real position on it. I don't know enough about it. Van Dulles says, might as well use this card up. Cheers. Thank you. CMK has subscribed. Sean Conklin says, thanks for covering this. Zelido Minico says, I feel like Trump wants civil unrest to justify his actions, and we should pause the protests until we can vote in November. What are your thoughts? I believe that there's a good chance Trump will use the protests to say, it's too crazy to vote by mail out. We can't vote by mail because look at all these people. They're going to steal mail from people's mailboxes, and it's going to be crazy. We've got to vote in person. Of course, the idea that when there's protests, you should vote in person actually seems counterintuitive, but I would not doubt for a second that Trump will try to justify not voting by mail on the basis of the protests. Trump is going to try to justify not voting by mail no matter what the facts on the ground are. That's the reality you have to understand. Giant Pants says, I'm so proud of all the protesters. We need good vibes. Kat McGlynn has signed up on YouTube. Kevin Gislandi says, love that you're covering this. Gives me a little hope for humanity that people are covering this topic, even though you will probably get demonized. I will be demonized and demonetized. And I don't know if you meant demonetized. Jake Johnson says, KTLA Channel 5, LA Police Chief, Zoom session with the city. Yeah, KTLA is one of the worst. They will take down my channel almost immediately. Lou Angulo has signed up. Ben Chasen says Trump and the DC police claimed no tear gas was deployed at Lafayette Park, despite videos of them blatantly doing it. Yeah, I think I have a video that we used on today's show where you can actually see that. Let me see here. Rose Garden statement, the video. Where is it? Oh, where was that video of the... I mean, here's one video, just very quickly, that I'm able to find from what was going on. I believe in this one you start to see the gas go up. Oh, what am I doing? This is not even... Is this the right video? No, okay, this was not the right video. Oh, hold on a second. Here it is. So I guess back here, yeah, I mean, that's gas starting to rise. There are better videos. I apologize. That's not the best one, but I don't know how anyone can deny that tear gas was used yesterday to clear the to clear the path for Trump to walk over. By the way, did anybody let me see how I can do this. Did anybody see how Trump was holding the Bible yesterday? He was holding the Bible like listen, I don't hold Bibles, but I know that you don't hold a Bible like this or however he was holding it. It's like, you know, when you hold the Bible, there's the thing you do, right? Where there's a way you hold the Bible, and people who have ever held the Bible know exactly what it is. And at one point, Trump shook it. Like my seat's bouncing up and down. He was shaking the Bible, which is a really weird thing to do. Let me see if I can find the video because it is just bizarre. Bizarre. Where is it here? Actually, I think I'm just going to have to search for it. Trump Bible, and then we'll go to videos. Where was we? I want to get a good shot of this thing. This is Trump walking over there. Oh, backwards and upside down. No, that's not it. Oh, God. Where is the good Trump Bible video? Trump Bible. Maybe if I do Trump Bible Church, I would find something. Whoa, that's a weird video. What is this? This is a bizarre video.
Leaders who are part of this church and leaders who stop in unexpectedly to this church. And so...
Okay, that's a strange video I've never seen. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see if he does the shake here. Okay. He was asked, by the way, I don't know if you guys caught that. Trump was asked, is that your Bible? And he said, it's a Bible. That means no.
It's a Bible.
Yeah, we know it's a Bible. Okay, let me see if oh, hey, it's our friend Ben Dixon. Let me see if I can find Trump shaking the Bible. Trump's photo, no, it's audio. All right, I'm struggling to find it now, but in any case, it was really a very weird moment when Trump kind of like shook the Bible up and down. Okay, enough about Trump and Bibles at this point, and Bibles as props, obviously. Super chats continue to come in. Ken Clive says, did you see what Los Angeles cops are doing? Violently arresting people driving home in their cars, damaging windows of local businesses, and shooting rubber bullets, I guess you mean into people's homes. I did not see that. I have not verified whether that is or is not going on. So I don't know that that's true. I'm not saying you're saying something untrue. I just want to be careful. If I don't know about something, I don't want to endorse it. Robert Mifflin says odds that Democrats win president and Senate. Does this help or hurt? So I think Biden has a better shot of winning than Democrats have of taking the Senate. It's an uphill battle in the Senate, but certainly there is a path. And we've talked about what that path is a number of times now. And I've done some extensive videos about that already. Dan Alley says cops can't even stop police brutality in police brutality protests. Do you think Trump will try to use the Army or Marines to stop the protesting? He said he will. So, I mean, it's not my opinion. He said he will. Some Random says USA needs a stronger welfare system. I agree. Doc says, do you think Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act? I don't know. You know, Trump often threatens things and then doesn't do them. Okay, let me get over to our good friends at twitch.tv/David Pakman. Things getting pretty wild in Atlanta right now, as you can see. Major crowds. 11 Alive YouTube. Let's see if we can find that specific stream. Let's see where this is. 11 Alive YouTube. Here it is. Just pulling it up for you fine folks. And here is the... So this is, you know, this is risky because we're going into local news stations, but I do want to take a look at what's going on up close in Atlanta. So here we have, so it's 9:01 there, just as it is here. They seem to have more light than we do. Curfew beginning soon. Let's listen in.
They have the streets all blocked off. We're going to start to back up a little bit here. But right now, gas has been shut off.
Gas has been deployed, it looks like.
On the streets now, and they have it blocked off. They've pushed people out of this area, and as they were doing so, people were throwing bottles out into the crowd where the law enforcement and the military were.
People throwing bottles at law enforcement.
This is what's going on right now. Tear gas has been shot. Crowds are being
tear
pushed
gas
back.
deployed. I mean, listen, you know, it's these situations are really tough because you come into it at some point. There's reports that bottles were thrown at law enforcement. There's a curfew, and law enforcement is dispersing tear gas. Who started it? What are the, I don't know. You know, this is why these situations are so complex and difficult. I'm against throwing stuff at police, and I'm against having police act aggressively and punch people, knock them over, tear gas, all of this stuff. I'm against all of it. Once you start doing one, can you say that the other is not obviously going to happen, right?
I was going to point out, even before we got to this point, it was like
let's go to Hope Ford right now. Hope Ford on the ground right now. Let's go to
guardsmen that were there.
We're going to pop in and go to Hope Ford right
now.
So
here
Ron.
It seems like construction fencing is being deliberately destroyed, as you can see.
Go.
Deliberate, looks like destruction of this construction fence as the gas comes out.
All right, so our crews are getting out of the way right now.
This is unrest if I've ever seen it before.
Going off. People jumping fences and trying to get out of the way of the tear gas. Crews moving in within the first 3 minutes of this, really about just 30 seconds into the 9 o'clock hour.
So there is, if you look at the ACLU on protesting, one of the things that they will say is once law enforcement tells a crowd to disperse, they're supposed to, what does supposed to even mean? They're supposed to give a reasonable amount of time for that to happen. You don't go, hey, curfew's 9 p.m., 9:03, we start beating the crap out of people and throwing the gas. If people are moving away when you ask for a dispersal, the right thing to do is I don't think I need to tell you guys, you don't tear gas them. You don't start beating the crap out of them. That doesn't seem to be what's going on here. There's questions about whether, you know, the military should even be here at all. Let's listen in a little bit more. This is getting very, very ugly, and I don't like to see it.
Yes, getting word from our producers that Hope and her photographer are okay.
Dear
They're
God.
talking to us and communicating. Although that scene looked pretty dramatic, we are thankful to report that they are okay, even though Hope wasn't wearing a mask. She did get out of there in time enough.
So I am seeing that the Washington Post seems to have coverage in DC. So this is what's going on in DC. Let's listen in here. So it seems as though this is the White House. There's an extremely bright light. And actually, are these multiple lights? Are they using some kind of annoying light to try to annoy protesters? I've never seen that before. People say that things are getting bad in Boston. If someone can find me a Boston feed, I would like to pick it up. I want to know what's going on. All right, so that's Washington, D.C. Here is Boston.
We out in open area. We walking with the police in open area. This is a peaceful protest.
So this is okay with police in Boston.
The police is walking, and we the people are walking with them, ladies and gentlemen. We the people are walking with them. Make some noise for George Floyd!
I know people who live right by here. I'm trying to let them know that this is going on. Just letting a couple friends know who live in that area. Okay, so that's what's going on in one part of Boston. I want to see if we have any other. I did want to see downtown Boston, Boston protests live. I'm worried things are maybe getting a little bit not so good in downtown Boston, but I'm not actually able to find any other. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Hold on a second. Oh no, this is just an overhead shot. Okay, if anybody actually has video of a different Boston protest where it is not going as well as this one, I would love to know about it. But this one actually seems okay. I want to keep an eye on this a little bit more.
Peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. We down here, we walking with the police, okay? It's the other way around. They're not walking with us, we're walking with them. We the people are out here walking with them. We are the champions, my friends.
Okay.
Come on, yeah! And we keep on fighting to the end.
This is not Brockton. This started at the Forest Hills T station, and it is going down what looks to be Washington Street by the MBTA bus depot right here. If I believe I understand exactly where this is. This is Washington. Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody knows, this is Washington Street. Yeah, right. I know this apartment building here, and people walking down Washington Street towards
history in the making. History
towards what are they walking towards? How do I describe it even? I guess towards Jamaica Plain. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on that. Let me read a couple of other super chats that have come in. Whoa. I lost a lot of them. Okay. Tear gas. Did you see what LA cops? Cops can't stop police. USA needs stronger welfare. Let's see where we were. Make it simple. Call Hassan. He's watching the protest too. I'm not going to call Hassan right now. Space Magic. Right now, it's important to promote allyship. Be an ally. Keep up the great work. Ryan Walsh has signed up. Amanda O says, thank you, David. Anything live in Chicago? I am not sure. But we have a number of different feeds going. Paula White says, funny how demonetized sounds like demonized, which I get a lot being an atheist. Love your work. Keep it up. Telling my boys all four to watch so they'll know the truth always. Thank you, Paula. I appreciate that. We are watching a protest in Boston head from the Forest Hills. Here's how it is. This is basically walking from the Forest Hills Orange Line stop in the direction of the Green Street Orange Line stop. That's essentially where this protest is going. Leica says, do you think the police allowing looting is to give optics to a false right-wing narrative? I don't. I actually think that it's a police tactic where you basically control the space and you allow some destruction of property in order to more broadly maintain control of what's going on. I don't know that it's so politically based in that sense and calculated necessarily. Carlos Noguez says church that Trump went to asked Trump to repent. Benjamin Skolazdra says, I suggest checking out 9 News stream of Denver, very large peaceful gathering outside Colorado Capitol, another group marching through the streets. I will find that and we will also look at it. So this is 9 News Denver. And then they have a stream going right now. We will pick that up as well in a little bit. Okay, we'll get back to that. It's earlier there. So we're kind of working our way east from places where curfews are indeed starting. Okay. O says, I'd look into what's been happening in Brockton. Okay. Peyton Pellin says, my dad is an avid Trumpist and is basically a completely different person since his election. Trump must go ASAP. Keep up the good work, David. Sorry to hear that. JD says, how much responsibility does Trump share in the record low black unemployment rate? And is it that as remarkable as it seems? No, listen, unemployment was just low. And we can argue how much responsibility Trump has for that. But there's no reason that when you have really low unemployment that it wouldn't be low for every group. So that is sort of that. Let's refresh here. It looks like we may have lost this feed. Did it go down? It looks as though it may have gone down. Yep. And then I'm getting messages from people who are living on that street, in fact, who are seeing it come by. Okay. Let's take a bit of a look now at what's happening in New York. New York now under curfew. And this is from a chopper with New York 4 NBC. A lot of streets are, of course, very clear. And then we also have video from Denver. I am told this is one of the most peaceful protests. Let's take a listen. Okay, not much to listen to. Going to be hard to hear much from a helicopter anyway. But yes, this does seem, at least from what we can see right now, very peaceful and quite well organized. And you love to see it when it goes this way. You love to see it when it goes this way for sure. Looks like the Boston feed may be dead. Here is Colorado. We also have Washington, D.C. This is the White House, right? I mean, this appears to be right out front of the White House. Can anybody confirm for me? I sort of recognize this area. Okay, so it's calm there. That's okay. Let's get back to our multi-stream to see. Oh, Atlanta. Oh, okay. Atlanta genuinely seems like things are getting pretty wild.
They are abiding by the rules and making sure that they are contributing to what the mayor is asking for everyone to be off of the streets from 9 p.m. until sunrise. So I thought that was interesting. It was my first time seeing how beyond downtown was being impacted by the curfew.
Absolutely. And you know what?
All right, so it seems like things are calming down in Atlanta. This is what you want to see. The curfew has started. It seems generally people are walking away. We are not seeing plumes of gas rising as we were just 15 minutes ago. So that is a good sign, and hopefully this is the way it will remain. We have New York City here up in the upper left. We have Hollywood, California, Washington, D.C., Boston. The resistance seems to be back in Boston. Okay, they are back and they are continuing to walk down what we believe is Washington Avenue, walking by the recently closed, I believe it's O'Doyle's Pub is where they are now. I once drove out to this neighborhood and played soccer at the field that is over here to the left, probably about to walk by Turtle Swamp Brewing, tremendous brewery, excellent beer. I recommend the Orange Line, what's it called? Orange Line something. Anyway, they have some great beer. So this is an area I've been to, although again, it looks like the stream is having issues. The stream is very, very much having issues. So maybe we will get away from it and just be able to keep an eye on it here in this small box. Let me say thanks to a few other folks who just signed up on my website. Thank you so much. Pamela Boss signing up as new member number 35. Appreciate it. Jenny Eason is new member number 36. Tommy Christian is number 37 at joinpacman.com. Donna Godfrey is number 38, while Zachary Cost is number 39. Thanks to Ryan Anderson, you are new member number 40 today. Thank you so much. I can't tell you what it means that folks are understanding what's going on, understanding that Facebook and YouTube channels are being demonetized when they talk about real issues like these protests, like what happened with George Floyd. And I really do appreciate everybody who's been supporting directly. Speaking of which, huge thank you on Twitch to Pink and Blonde, who is now a 9-month Prime subscriber. Summer Vib has subscribed. Chrono Mage has subscribed. Rebel Without a Cause is now in for 9 months. And Jala Hippo says Trump just tweeted announcing moving the convention from North Carolina. Whatever. He also said, also, do you think illegality of using military as law enforcement would actually keep it from happening if he ordered it? Really skeptical of the chances of the military, checks and balances standing up to him. I have a video about this where we talk about the Posse Comitatus Act and the Insurrection Act and how they relate to each other. Also, thanks to Blatty Meow, who subscribed with Prime and says, David, as always, thoroughly enjoying your objective, productive, and thoughtful analysis. Keep it going. Thank you. I will do exactly that. Okay, let's get to some other super chats here. John Lawson grabbed a Soy Boy membership. Danny Belmonte says, have you heard about the race war that broke out between Hispanic and Black communities in Chicago following the protests? I have not heard about that. I don't know if it happened, but if it did, I want to know more about it. I just have not heard about it yet. Progressive Atheist Trucker says, love the show, Black Lives Matter. Sierra Black sends a super chat. Ken H says, the priests at the church says they were gassed. Oh, they were gassed yesterday in D.C. There's no doubt about it. Anthony Ludaway says, sorry if you've already answered this. How do you think this will end? With peace and actual change, with peace and an unkept promise, or a devastating tragedy and no change? Listen, I have a hard time imagining that these protests will directly lead to change. The hope would be the protests lead to organization, which often leads to lawsuits and regulations. And sometimes on the tail end, if you look at Brown v. Board of Education in 54, that was a Supreme Court decision that was the culmination of 3.5 years of activism, which started with protests. So this is a process, I guess, is the message that I'm pointing out. Joseph Woodward says, thank you so much for sharing. John Howell says, outstanding independent journalism. Thank you, John. Townsend Cox says, it'd be interesting to compare how much has been spent on police tanks and riot gear versus on surplus hospital supplies and staff in the past 10 years. It would be interesting. It would be an analysis. I guess it's doable. You would need to you'd need to do it carefully. Alex Colson says, what are the metrics of innocent Black deaths by police with Trump versus Obama? I don't know. And when you say innocent, you know, we have a system that assigns guilt or lack of guilt. It doesn't assign innocence. And that can make those sort of questions fraught or difficult in some sense. Let me say thanks to Donnie Darklighter for subscribing over on Twitch. Folks asking for a tour of some of the different feeds we're looking at. So it looks like the Boston feed is done. Oh, no, the Boston feed is back. Okay. Boston feed is back and a lot of action happening there. This is a New York City feed. It actually does look like the streets are starting to clear as the curfew has been in place now for 19 minutes in New York City. Right? New York City had a 9 p.m. curfew, or is it an 11 p.m.? Now I'm getting my curfew. I believe it was a 9 p.m. curfew in New York City. So that's going on. We have Atlanta seems to be settling. We did have right around 9 p.m. There was a bunch of tear gas going up and some destruction of fences as well. But it seems like things, by and large, are kind of simmering down. We have Washington, D.C. This is, I believe, still near the White House, unless the feed has moved from the Washington Post. And then we also have what appears to maintain, although we now have maybe lost the feed. Let's see if we can pick it back up live. In Denver, it appears to be a widely peaceful protest for the time being, although they do seem to be having some stream issues going on for sure at this point in time. Let's see here. Jeremy Landry says curfew is excuse to attack people from new rule. JB has grabbed a beta membership. Dylan Collett says, will the significantly feared second wave of COVID cases resurge much sooner than the fall or winter, given all of the chaos? I don't know the answer to that. Obviously, I hope not, but I am worried about the effect on the virus of all of these protests. George Zoros Shameka says, saw a couple progressive YouTubers making fun of Joe Biden's stutter, calling him a moron for it. Not sure why they made fun of him for a speech impediment. Yeah, it's like making fun of someone for having, congestive heart failure or diabetes or dwarfism. I mean, I don't make fun of people for medical conditions, and I don't know who did that, but I would not do that. It's just horrible. Jim Chamberlain has subscribed on YouTube. David D'Arcy says, it seems to me that Forrest Trump wants to make the purge a reality. From Ireland, go Nairi and Botharleet. I don't know how to pronounce Irish stuff. Ben Goodall has signed up. Jorge Zoros Shameka, did you see those random pallets of stone or bricks? Yeah, I saw different videos purporting to be police dropping off bricks to make it easier to destroy property. And most of those videos seemed questionable in terms of what they were all out of context. For all I know, the videos weren't even from yesterday. So I don't want to say too much about that because I don't really know whether the videos are genuine. Dan Matienzo says, from Plymouth, watching local news, and the last I saw, state police are requesting backup in Brockton. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Casey Reynolds says, David, do you think vote by mail will be necessary for a Biden victory? If the GOP prevents it, what's your outlook on in-person turnout? Listen, I don't believe vote by mail is necessary for a Biden victory, but they're very good at suppressing the in-person vote. Republicans are. We have a pandemic we're dealing with. I can't think of any reason not to have in-person voting. Okay. Corey Roberts has signed up on YouTube. Juvian Official says, from an optics perspective, having a conservative Democratic candidate could be beneficial given the radical spin mass media has attributed to protesters. I don't know about that. I'd have to think about that a little bit more. John Howell says, agent provocateurs, please caution about the threat. Very much so. An oxymoron says, please plug the Remove Qualified Immunities Act. I will discuss that probably tomorrow. And Stabby666 says, I'm wondering if Kyle or Crystal Ball will change their minds about not voting against Trump after seeing the military brought in by Trump. Good question. Somebody told me they did tweet some stuff about this and seemed to be going more in the direction of Biden, although I did not see it personally. Thank you to Brett Hinchcliffe, who just signed up at joinpacman.com. Really appreciate that. You are new member number 41 today. Fantastic number, an incredible number, really. Also, thanks to Arvizu Diego, who has subscribed with Prime over on Twitch. Very, very much appreciate that. Let's take a look at some of the other videos that we have. We have, it looks like they're really struggling to keep the video going in Denver. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Denver video, but it seems to repeatedly just freeze right. Where is it? Here. Okay, so that video's dead. We're going to get off of that. The protests in Washington, D.C., that coverage seems to have ended. We have Let's see what's happening in Atlanta, because last night I think was not so good in Atlanta.
Antonio Brown, excuse me, really saying, you know, the purpose of this is to remain peaceful and to allow their voices to be heard. But at the same time, they are acknowledging that there are agitators in the crowd. And Ron, how do you really separate the two? Because when you fire off tear gas, you don't know who is who. You just have to do the methods that you know will work to disperse the crowd.
Well, you know what? If the reports are true, all across our country in all the various cities, that many of these folks who are agitators are not Atlantans. They're not from Chicago. They're not from LA. These are outsiders who just are looking for an opportunity.
I
This
think
is
the
according to
outsider thing is a bit of a problem, because what they mean by so left and right, I'm not saying this channel is left or right, but left and right are using these are outside people to push their agenda. So the right says these are outside people to imply that the communities where the protests are taking place are not really concerned about police brutality, and it's just people coming in from outside either to loot or to make Trump look bad or whatever. The left, I think, is generally motivated by pointing out when outsiders come in, they are the troublemakers, basically arguing that really these are peaceful protesters and the community people who live in these communities are peaceful, but it's outsiders who are not peaceful. And I understand that. I think that we just have to be careful, because even if you come from the outside, you could be coming from the outside because you live somewhere rural where there is no opportunity to demonstrate and you're just going to the nearest urban center. When we talk about activism, one of the things we talk about is you can maybe get more attention by scaling up mass rallies at urban centers. You don't do mass rallies in the countryside. So I want to be careful about this outsiders thing in all senses. Now, from some cities, we have arrest data. In many cases, sometimes only like 1 out of 8 arrests or 1 out of 10 arrests, from what I've seen, are people from outside of the place. Now, does the place mean the city or the city and the suburbs of the county? I don't know. But, you know, just being an outsider doesn't mean your perspective is any less valid, right? If you live in rural northern Indiana and you say, well, the protests are in Chicago, I care about police brutality, I'm going to go to Chicago because nobody's protesting in rural northern Indiana. So what, right? Okay, so you came from a place where there's no people, and now you're in a city, and this is where the protest is. So I think we should just be careful about allowing that to be used to disqualify the importance of people getting together who are from urban areas and from rural areas and whatever else. It's fine to be from the outside. The question is, are you there genuinely, or are you there to stir up the crowd and destroy stuff and create confrontations with police? And if you are, I don't care where you're from, whether you're from in the city or out of the city. If that's what you're doing, I don't want you there. Period. That's it. There's really nothing else. Okay. Let's see here. Ben Busing says, what do you make of Val Demings as a potential VP? So I think that some of the black women whose names are being thrown around as Biden VP possibilities really are not likely to be considered. So, like, I don't think Nina Turner has any shot at being considered. I don't think Stacey Abrams is seriously being considered. Val Demings is someone you could actually really look at. And I think it would be very interesting because she has a left law enforcement perspective, former law enforcement officer. I think it would be very interesting. I still think that on policy, Elizabeth Warren is probably the leftmost person that's being seriously considered right now. I think Klobuchar is out after it was revealed she was against charging Derek Chauvin during one of his previous alleged bad acts. So that's my thought, I guess. Okay, Ron says that's an M1117 Guardian, an armored vehicle commonly used by military police. Definitely not needed for this mission. I think you were referring not to this one, but to the other one. Point taken, though. Johnny Lasagna Gaming says, thank you so much for saying making fun of stutters is bad. I was tormented all through elementary school for having a stutter. Much love. Keep it up. Absolutely. So things are seeming more calm in Atlanta, which I think is a good thing. That's what you want to see. We have a police helicopter from New York NBC4 over New York City, And it seems as though things are calming down there as well, and that our Boston stream has died. So that is what is going on there. And we want things to be calm. That is, of course, a very, very good thing. I'm going to be wrapping my coverage at the bottom of the hour, just 1 minute from now. I may be doing these regularly. I think it is important to keep up with what is going on. As you all saw, as we looked from Boston to Atlanta to Denver, New York City, Washington, etc., it is not an exaggeration to say at least 99% of what is going on is just peaceful, reasonable protesting, period. We saw in Atlanta some people breaking down some construction fence. Some of that could have been people trying to escape the tear gas. It was unclear exactly what came first, but I think it is abundantly clear that the vast majority of what we are seeing is peaceful protesting, people abiding by curfews, people mostly wearing masks, etc. So thank you for joining me. We will have more coverage on tomorrow's show. Don't miss my YouTube segments that we have uploaded today. I really appreciate everybody joining me.